Yannick, I suppose the UK economy has been growing for the 11 previous quarters. It is still growing, but with the Rugby World Cup now in history, should we be surprised that growth is perhaps not moving in the same way as it was?
Well, I mean, there's been one reassessment of one number, Q4 number. All in all, the UK economy year on year is growing at a strong pace. I think it's around 2.1%. It is the strongest growth with the USA within the G7 countries. So those are very, very good growth number. And a lot of countries, especially in continental Europe, will be very happy to have this kind of growth. The impact of the Rugby World Cup is there. It doesn't mean that you can't read too much into it, I would say, going forward. If we look at the stock market today, for example, the FTSE 100 is up 2.5%. It's one of the best performing markets today in Europe. So I think market participants are not reading too much into this number.
So less than expected, but actually market reaction hasn't been too bad?
Yeah, it's just a revision of one number. If we start to see a trend quarter for quarter that there is some downward revision, that could be a problem. As you said, I mean, it's true that retail and is a very important part of the economy. We have seen some sign of slowdown, but again, it's a bit too early to say because we have to factor in the impact of lower energy price.
Data also coming out of the United States today, as we heard earlier, housing resales having dropped to a 5-year low in November. Some analysts there shrugging it off as a bit of a blip, or do you think is it something more significant, signs that the US economy is still vulnerable?
Well, the housing market was a big factor in the growth of the economy since 2008. I think the main question mark is what will be the impact of the Fed rate increase, because obviously if you buy a house, you need to get some refinancing, long-term refinancing. If we look at the long-term bond market and the refinancing rate, for 10 years, 20 years, so far we have not seen a big increase of those rates. So consumer today should be able to buy a house with more or less the same mortgage rate than a month ago. Going forward, if we see a sharp increase of this borrowing rate, that will have a damaging impact on the housing market for sure.
Let's just look at Europe and a mixed picture over there. Mixed picture for the locomotive Germany, actually, but we've also seen political uncertainty in Spain.
Yes.
Where should people be putting their money at the moment in Europe?
Well, I mean, today, what the stock market is doing today or this week, I don't think it's very, very relevant because the volume has been very low. Yesterday's volume on the FTSE 100, I think, was down 43% compared to the average of 2015. And we didn't have a lot of data, both in terms of the economy and in terms of company. I still think that consumer-related company within Europe should do well because of lower euro and lower energy price. So company in construction, in automobile, in the media industry should do a bit better, I think.